Hello, guys, and welcome to another week. Last week was a boring one, and like I told you, throughout since the beginning of this month, I've not been able to take a single trade. And listen, this is what makes you a good trader. The fact that you can be very patient enough to just wait for that perfect setup that you're looking for. Now, there are several instances in the charts or in the markets that you would see one or two opportunities, but because they don't quite align perfectly to what you're looking for, you choose to just stay away from the charts and just keep waiting, right? So did I see several opportunities here? I saw several opportunities, and like I always say, our analysis are usually spot on. We told you what we expected from the gold charts this new week in this previous week that just we just finished, and if you went through our video last weekend, you'd see that price played out exactly how I said price would play out. Price pushed up to a point of resistance where I said price would most likely sell from. As price pushed up a little, just a little bit away from that major, the actual point I put up, price began to drop. And so we saw opportunities for a sell, right? But I didn't quite take the sells because you see that price, even though we said price is in a consolidation phase for like about 2 months now or more, or three, about going to 2 to 3 months now, right? We know that price is overall bullish, right, and is still maintaining that bullish structure. So even if we saw an opportunity for a sell, we had to be very careful. So I didn't quite take the opportunities that I saw for the sell, right? I saw the opportunities throughout this week about 2 3 times, but didn't take them because price is majorly a bullish market, right? We also saw opportunities for buys at the beginning of this month. That first week of this month, we saw an opportunity for a buy, but also we didn't take it because price didn't quite print out the way we expected price to print out. It wasn't really a perfect formation for us, so we left the charts alone and we just kept watching. So throughout this month, we've not taken a single trade, and that's sometimes that happens, and you should be able to stay away from the charts without taking any trade. If you can't stay away from the charts, then you're most likely gambling, right? And that's not trading. So guys, this is a new week, so what should we be looking out for? Now, we told you last week the price was going to most likely push up to a point and then reject, which price did just that. And then we told you that we're looking to buy the gold chart if gold comes down significantly into the zone, and as you can see, price has already started to drop now. But there is a twist to this, right? Price dropped. In fact, we saw buys from around this zone, right? Didn't still take it because we're waiting. Price came down into this zone. So opportunity again, we didn't take it because we're waiting. As you can see, price rejected from the zone, and then as it rejected, what happened? It now began to drop again, and then coming into this zone that we marked out around here, which currently is around the zone, right? So are we in on a trade yet? We are not yet in on a trade. So we're still waiting and just watching the charts, right? Now, like I said, there's a little bit of a twist, so we need to start from do the top down analysis so that I'll show you what's happening, so you see the twist I'm talking about. Because even though we are still maintaining a bullish structure, right? Gold is looking like it's not just going to keep consolidating. Gold could actually give us a significant drop, right? So let's do the top down analysis so we see what we're talking about. Let's start from the monthly. Oh. So looking at the monthly charts, let me repeat this here. Looking at the monthly charts, we can see we said for like past 2 months now, we saw how that gold created this strong bullish candle, right? And then created this indecision candle over here. And as you can see, gold has been moving sideways. Now for the past 3 months, gold has been moving sideways, right? Within this box. Gold has been moving sideways, right? You can see that. I need to remove this because of what I'm trying to show you. So gold has been moving sideways now for the past 3 months, and we just have the next week, Monday, as we open the week, Monday is going to be the last day of the month, right? And so what do we think will happen here? Now, if this month candle closes quite bearish the way it's looking like it's going to close, if let's say Monday pushes down a little bit lower and then closes really bearish, then that's an indication that gold might be looking to drop even lower. All right, so that's an indication that gold might be looking to drop even lower, and so we could see a massive drop. Like I said this, I even spoke about this last week or last 2 weeks, that gold we could see gold dropping as far as down to this point 3122, and we could even see gold drop even as far as 2956. You know, depending on how uh, this month closes, and then also how what happens next month. And if you know, we are in sort of like a period where the market is not this period, people are kind of like taking profits and going on breaks and all that, so the market might be choppy, and that's what we're seeing, right? People are taking profits and all that, so we could see gold significantly drop even up to 50% of all the move that it did since the beginning of this year, right? So we could see a massive drop of 50% since the whole bullishness of this year, right? So that's why I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So this is January, right? This is January over here. So we could see something, we could see gold drop as much as 50%, right? We could see gold drop into this point, 3063 level. It could even drop even lower, right? So we could see gold drop. That could happen because I told you guys for some time now that gold has significantly moved up already this year. And so what we're going to be seeing is a consolidation for quite some time. And the consolidation on gold can be quite crazy. If gold decides to consolidate, it can give you a short-term consolidation, and sometimes it can give you an average consolidation, which might just be for some few months, and sometimes it can give you a consolation for a whole for a whole year on even 2 years or more, right? So let's see, but I don't think that's going to really be the case. I think gold might just drop at least to 50% of the entire move that it has done this year, and then we could start seeing a bullishness from that zone. So let's just see how it all goes. Now let me mark out that 50%, so we just take note of it. This is January. So while we're looking at the charts, we're going to just be having that in mind, that yeah, that's a possibility. I like drawing things quite perfectly. So this is the 50% level. So we just keep an eye on that. And mark out this other area 276, which I'm not really looking for that to happen, but let's just mark that out. So we'll name this. This shouldn't waste my time. Okay, so that's that. Just be keeping an eye on that. So now, guys, like we said, gold could come down as much as that, right? So if we see gold close quite bearish now, this month, we just need to wait to see what happens. If we see gold close quite bearish, then we can expect gold to push up again. So we might see opportunities for buys, like I've been saying. We might expect gold to push up again, but if gold pushes up, what will most likely happen is that gold is going to drop back again, right? So because we're going to be seeing, what do they call this formation here, a doji here, and then you see bearish rejection candle, even though it's not going to be was it an engulfing bearish candle, because looking at the way everything is forming, it might not engulf this candle, right? This week might not, it might not go below this particular week, but still it's still going to be a bearish indication that price might be looking to drop even further down, right? So if we see gold close very bearish this month, right, we can expect to look for buys and buy it up, but don't expect to hold it for so long. When gold pushes up, we can then look for selling opportunities, right? And this time, if we see selling opportunities present itself, we're going to take it because this is a clear indication that gold will most likely drop. All right, so even though we are still maintaining the bullishness, because if you look at this, you see that gold is still very much bullish here. But you can see that gold is trying to relax a little. So if we see, especially whenever you see a bearish candle at such a point like this where gold has significantly moved up and you know that gold is trying to relax, once you see an indication of a bearish uh, candle giving you the indication that the bearishness is about to start, then you can actually start going in on those sells, even though you know that overall the direction is bullish because gold will most likely drop, right? Now, let me use an example. Like this instances that you see over here, you saw that gold gave us this bearish indications, and what happened? Even though it was still a bullish structure, right? Gold gave several indications here that gold wanted to drop, and what happened? If you saw opportunities there to sell, you took the sell and then you got in on a good trade. So let's just see how the month closed, which I believe is going to close quite bearish. All right, so let's go down to the weekly. Now, when the month closes, then we're going to mark out the 50% of this monthly candle, but right now we can't do that because the month hasn't yet closed, right? So let's go down to the weekly time frame. Let's see what it looks like. Now, looking at the weekly charts, yes, gold, like we said, is still maintaining the bullish structure, but as you can see, gold is beginning to reject from the zones, right? So, and it's still within this consolidation area, right? So we could actually keep looking for our buys, but we should also be keeping our eyes on for sells too as well. So what we can do here now is to mark out the 50% of this current week's candle. Let's see where that is at. Let's see where that is at. Okay, I'm going to have to remove these other lines because we've already seen what we need to see there. So the 50% level of this weekly candle is somewhere around here, 3326, and if you look at that, you see that that happens to be a key area, right? You see that that happens to be a key area. Look there, you see this whole resistance level or support level over here, right? But currently, because price is below it, that's a resistance level, right? So price could most likely get into that zone and we'll start to see rejections from that zone. All right, so let's mark out the other level, the 76.4 level. Let's see, when we go down to a lower time frame, we'll see what's there, right? So let's remove the feed. So this is what we have, right? This is what we have, the 50% level FIB of the week. Let me tell you that 50 FIB weekly. Okay, so that's what we have there. And this is the 76.4 level, right? So price could most likely go into this zone and then we'll start to see rejections downwards. And if you look at this, you can see something like a heads and shoulders that's looking like it's beginning to form here, right? You could see this on the weekly chart. Let's go down to the daily. Let's see what's happening on the daily. Now, better. Now things are looking much clearer, right? You can see this. Things are looking much clearer. And if you look at the daily, yeah, you can see an inverse heads and shoulders right here. Like we said, it's still maintaining the bullish structure, right? You can see an inverse heads and shoulders right here, right? You can see that. You can see that that could happen, right? You could see that. Even right here, this one has already played out, right? But you could see something like that beginning to form right here. So price could come down lower into the zone, like we said earlier, because this is this channel trend line over here, and then we'll see a rejection upwards, which that's going to be a good point for us to be looking for our buys, right? This is going to be a good point for us to be looking for our buys. I hope you guys are following this very well. Now, but we also still need to know that while we're looking for our buys from around these zones, right? We could actually be looking for sell as well. So we could see price go before price could come down here first and then give us the rejection that we need, and we'll buy from there. Now when we buy from here and price pushes up, we need to lock in our profits, right? As soon as we start seeing the bull the buy opportunity, as soon as we start seeing profits on that trade, we'll lock in our profits and we'll hold it. Now we could take partials and then we could wait, but don't be so optimistic, because if price pushes up, we might see price dropping back lower again, right? That could actually happen. So whichever one plays out first. If we see the buying opportunities first, good. If we see the selling opportunities first, then we take it, because price might not just come down, price might actually go back up first, right? And then gives us the opportunity for the sell from this 50% level or this other level, and then we take the sales from there, whichever one presents itself. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So if you see the buying opportunities first, good. If you see the selling opportunities first, then good, we'll take it. But I think we're going to see the buying opportunities first, because on Monday might want to close quite bearish, so that the month would also close quite bearish too as well, right? So we could see that heads and shoulders, and we can also see that inverse heads and shoulders, and we can also see a heads and shoulders that has been forming right here too as well, right? Let me see if you can draw that for you. This is the shoulder, this is the head. Then you could say this was a shoulder here that formed, right? Or you could even say this here that has formed here also is a shoulder, and price has dropped. So if price goes back up into this neckline area, then we could actually start looking for our selling opportunities. That's the neckline area, if you can see that. So let's remove this heads and shoulders drawing. So hope you're seeing this. This on the daily. We're seeing this on the daily, right? So these are heads and shoulders neckline over here. So if price gets into that zone, we could actually start selling. And as you can see, it matches up with this 50% fib level of the week that we drew. Weekly 50% fib level, right? And if this level doesn't hold, then we know that this other level, which is the 76.4 level, let me write that there so we take note of that. There's the 76.4 fib level. Then this other level is what's going to hold, right? So one of these two is going to hold, and price is most likely going to drop from there. All right, and that makes sense. If you see it, you see this fair value gap over here on the daily, which has been tapped into, but price will most likely go there again and then give us a rejection, right, from around this 50 fib or the 76. So we just need to keep a close eye on it. Now let's go down to the 4-hour. Let's see what we see. Let's see if we're going to see anything there. Now we're on the 4-hour. Looking at the 4-hour, we can still see, remember this is the head and shoulders neckline we draw on the daily, right? And this is the 50 fib and this is the 76.4 fib, right? So now looking at the 4-hour, we can see a head and shoulders also as well. We can see a head and shoulders right here on that right shoulder that we drew. We can see head and shoulders right here. Can you see this? Can you see that, guys? Can you see this? Can you see this? So we are seeing a heads and shoulders within a heads and shoulders. Interesting, right? We're seeing a heads and shoulders within a head and shoulders. Does that make sense, guys? So that means that this level right here is most likely going to be a strong level, right? This level right here is most likely going to be a strong level. Now, I would like to remove this other daily heads and shoulders, but let's just leave it there, right? It's not looking too clumsy, right? Is it? Hope it's not looking too clumsy. So, guys, we see the heads and shoulders within the heads and shoulders. So it's most likely a price will most likely come into this zone and would respect it. The moment we start seeing the rejections here that we need, especially on the 30 minutes and 1 hour, then we can get in on ourselves, guys. And price is just going to tank and drop. And we're just going to be making our pips and making the profits, guys. So that's that. And if you look at this on the 4-hour, you can see multiple imbalances here. You can see multiple you can see an imbalance right over here. You can see fair value gaps right over here, right? You see this fair value gap over here. Let me draw that so you just see it. Let me draw that so you just see it. So you see this fair value gap right over here, and then you see another one right over here within that point where all those lines are connected or are meeting at, right? You see another one right over there. So within that right shoulder area, right? So price will most likely get there, and we'll start to see the rejections from that this fair value gap over here, right? So it's looking good. It's looking quite good. It's looking quite good. So that's what we're going to be looking out for right there. We're going to be looking out for that right there. So let's see this. Let's see, go to the 1 hour. Let's see what we have there. Let's see what we have. Okay. Now, if, like we said earlier, if this level doesn't hold, then this other level will most likely hold. And you could also say there's a heads and shoulders right there too as well, right? You could also say there's a heads and shoulders right there. That is the neckline. So price will most likely come into that zone and then respect it. So if price gets into that zone, we are going to also look for sellers from that zone. You know, whenever price gets into a zone, don't just get in. We don't just get in like that. There are a few instances we get in without waiting for the whole confirmations and all that, because there are instances like that, right? There are scenarios which I can explain here. But most times when price gets into the zone that we've marked out, we wait for certain confirmations and rejections. And once we see what we're looking for, then we get in on the trade. So let's get down to the 1 hour, guys. Let's see what it looks like. So now looking at the 1 hour, good. You can see this neckline we drew here on the 4 hour lines up with the 1 hour also neckline. You can see a 1 hour heads and shoulders right here too as well. And so everything is connected. You can see this. You can see this, guys. Tell me you can see this. Tell me you can see this, guys. Tell me you can see this, right? So price will most likely get back there, and then we see the drop. Hope this is clear, guys. Hope this is clear. Hope this is clear. So price will get in there, drop, and we see the rejection. Now, if you see the 1 hour, you can see that there is a fair value gap inside here, inside this right shoulder. You can see this fair value gap right there. Let me draw that for you. You can see this fair value gap right there, inside that same place, right? You can see multiple fair value gaps here, but you can see this fair value gap inside that place. So it's most likely that we're going to see rejection from there, and we're going to get in on the trade. Right, so we're going to just wait, be patient, and you can see multiple liquidities here for price to grab. Price is going to grab all this liquidity right over here. Let me put that for you to see. Price is going to grab all this liquidity, grab this liquidity, and most likely grab this last liquidity as well. And then what happens? Price will drop. So that makes sense. Everything is looking quite good. Everything is looking, the cells are looking juicy, guys. The cells is looking juicy. So once price gets into here, guys, next week, we should be looking to sell from there. If this level doesn't hold, then most likely this other level right here is going to hold. So I think that's that. As simple as that. Let's go back to the 4 hour. There's nothing much again to look for. We've seen everything we need to see. So that's good. That's good. We're going to be looking for sales from there. Let's go back to the daily. I like how the daily looks. Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's it, guys. So that's what we're going to be waiting for. We're going to be waiting for sales from these levels, and we're going to be waiting for buys down here. So that's it for this analysis. Hope you have a wonderful trading week, and trade, be smart, don't gamble. All right, and wait for your perfect setup. That's it, guys. Peace, guys. Bye.